Welcome to our first lesson in this series. Today, we're laying the foundation for everything we'll study as we explore the essential question: what exactly is social work? This is more than a career, it's a deep, professional commitment to justice and human dignity. Hello, everyone. I'm Professor Crook, and I'll be your guide through this course. Social work is a profession that often gets misunderstood as just helping people. But as we'll see today, it's a complex, multifaceted field rooted in science, ethics, and advocacy. It requires both a warm heart and a sharp analytical mind. Social work matters because it addresses the systemic barriers that prevent people from thriving. We don't just look at a person in isolation, we look at the entire environment surrounding them, family, community, and policy, to create lasting, sustainable change that empowers the individual. In this lesson, we're doing a deep dive into the professional identity of social work itself. We'll look at where we came from, the pioneers who broke new ground, and the diverse professional roles you might one day perform. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to trace the history of social work in the United States, identify the pioneers who shaped it, and understand the difference between degree levels and the diverse roles you can perform in various practice settings, from schools to hospitals to government. To understand where we are going, we must understand where we began. The history of social work in the United States is a story of profound transformation, from informal, faith-based charity to a rigorous, professionalized discipline that advocates for systemic reform. The profession emerged in the late 1800s through the work of charity organizations, churches, and community groups. Back then, the focus was primarily on friendly visiting and providing for basic survival needs: food, shelter, and clothing, for those in dire poverty during the Industrial Revolution. But early social workers realized that handouts weren't enough to break the cycle of poverty. They began to see that hardship wasn't just an individual moral failing. It was often the result of broader social inequalities, poor housing, and lack of access to fair education or opportunity. This realization led to a pivotal shift in the field. Social workers became architects of social reform. They started advocating for labor laws, better health standards, and rights for immigrants and children, effectively shaping the very fabric of our modern social safety net and public policy. This movement wasn't an abstraction. It was led by visionaries who challenged the deeply held beliefs of their time. Let's take a closer look at four pioneers who fundamentally changed how we view social responsibility and the methods we use to help people. First, Robert Hunter. He was a radical for his time, publishing his book Poverty in 1940. He challenged the popular myth that poverty was caused by moral failure, arguing instead that it was an economic and systemic problem that required societal intervention, not just individual change. Next is Mary Richmond. She is often called the mother of social casework. She believed that to help a person, you had to understand their whole world, their family dynamics, their workplace, and the community structures that surrounded them every day. Richmond developed the person and environment perspective in her landmark work, Social Diagnosis. She created systematic methods for assessing a client's situation, which laid the groundwork for the professionalized, scientific approach to clinical social work we still practice today. Then there is the legendary Jane Addams. She founded Hull House in Chicago, a settlement house that provided direct services to immigrants. But she didn't stop at service. She was a powerhouse for political change and the first American woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Addams bridged the gap between helping individuals and advocating for social justice on a global scale. She fought for labor laws, public health improvements, and women's suffrage, proving that social work is inherently political and that community-level work can change the world. Finally, Jane Hoey. She was a key architect of the Social Security Act during the Great Depression. She understood that without federal support and professional administration, millions of Americans would be left behind in the face of economic collapse. Hoey's work ensured that public assistance programs reached those who needed them most through professionalized systems. Her legacy is the modern welfare system, emphasizing that the government has a permanent role in protecting the well-being and security of its citizens. These pioneers set the stage for our modern mission. Today, the purpose of social work remains clear and focused: to promote human well-being and to fight relentlessly for social and economic justice for all people, regardless of their background. Our mission is fourfold: promote well-being, advance justice, support vulnerable populations, and empower people to create change in their own lives and communities. Empowerment is the heart of what we do. It's about helping people help themselves. When we talk about empowerment, we mean helping clients find their own voices and agency. We aren't here to fix people or tell them how to live. We are here to partner with them, providing the resources, tools, and advocacy they need to overcome systemic barriers. To enter this profession, you'll typically pursue one of two degrees. The BSW prepares you for entry-level generalist practice, while the MSW allows for advanced clinical specialization or macro-level leadership, research, and policy work. Each degree offers a unique path. Regardless of the degree, field experience is mandatory. You'll spend hundreds of hours in real-world settings under supervision. And remember, licensure requirements vary significantly by state. It's your professional responsibility to know your local rules and ethical standards. One of the most rewarding parts of social work is its sheer diversity. You aren't locked into one path. Social workers operate in schools, hospitals, prisons, and government offices, performing a variety of critical roles that adapt to the needs of the client. You might start as a broker, connecting families to local food pantries or housing resources. Or you could be a case manager, coordinating a complex care plan for an elderly client or a child in foster care, ensuring every part of their environment is supportive. In other moments, you are an advocate, standing up for a client whose rights have been violated by a system, or an educator, teaching a group of parents about child development or financial literacy. Your role shifts dynamically to meet the needs of those you serve. With an MSW, you might move into counseling for mental health or risk assessment in child welfare. You could also be a mediator, helping families resolve high-stakes conflicts, or a researcher studying the impact of social programs to improve outcomes. To do this work effectively, you need a specialized skill set. It begins with self-awareness, understanding your own biases and triggers, and includes professional competence, deep empathy, and sharp critical thinking skills to navigate complex ethical dilemmas. Communication and cultural competence are vital. You must be able to listen deeply and work respectfully with people from all walks of life, especially those whose experiences and worldviews are vastly different from your own. This is a journey of lifelong learning. Here is the big takeaway. Social work is more than just solving individual problems. It is a profession dedicated to improving the quality of life for everyone and promoting social justice and equality at every level of society, from the individual to the global. As you move forward in this course, remember that you are training to be an agent of change. You are an advocate, a problem solver, and an educator. You are a social worker, and the work you do matters to the people you serve and to society as a whole. In our next lesson, we'll explore the professional ethics that will guide your every decision in the field. I'm Professor Crook, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Keep learning, stay curious, and stay committed to the mission of empowerment.